Most nice people don't have to yell at you that they're nice people.
Because most people aren't being attacked for it. Hold on, wait. Do you understand right there how you just gaslit me? You're talking, it's not working. I don't even know if you can hear me, actually.
PL's don't.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Not too good, dude.
Not too good. Wait, what's going on?
Ducker Z does Ducker Z at Ducker Z. Look, Duckers.
To be totally honest.
Oh.
Like, I don't even know where to start. Like, I was watching that stream yesterday, dude, and that was fucked.
Well, yeah, I'd say a little bit, but, you know, it's all part of the game, right?
Well, like, I'll be totally honest. Like, I don't give two shits about what you say about me. You can call me a snake. You can call me a coward. You can call me spineless. I don't give two fucks, man. I'm in my 30s. That shit doesn't mean anything. But the rest of the stuff, dude, like, that was fucked up.
Yeah, I think so. So specifically, I guess, because this is our point of contention. I'm just curious on how. I'm just super curious. The conversation that we had with Cormentine? Is it Cormentite or Cormentine? Cormentine. Do you feel like, do you more or less think, do you stand by everything you said before? Or I'm just curious because I want to talk about some of the conclusions that you have I feel like are impossible, but that's kind of what I'm just kind of curious about.
About the one that we had or the one that
the review stream that you had after, where you kind of like broke down like, this is what I feel happened or whatever.
Yeah, I watched you ripping into it too, saying that it was like I was getting too stuck on semantics. I'm taking it.
Yeah, so like the idea that like if I were to say like, oh, well, hold on, dude, you're uneducated about this, that there's like a significant difference in the context of that conversation versus just saying like, you're stupid. Like, whereas I would argue like, it's more or less that's what's being said here. There's not like a super nuanced take. Maybe in like a different setting or with a different person or with different pretext. Sure. I can understand that, but when he's already like called... and also, well, yeah, I guess if you saw it, then you kind of know, right? Like, I wouldn't say that's the first time he called anybody stupid. Like, he had already laid into that in the Canadian pipeline discussion or whatever, like, before we even got to this topic.
Yeah, no,
and people stupid.
That, again, yeah, that wasn't fair. Did you watch that interview I had with him in that same stream? Because I actually spoke to him, and he coughed up to both of those. He was like, yeah, I went too hard on someone who didn't deserve it, which was Bastion, and I obviously was just running too hard in Destiny at the very start of that debate. So, I mean, I think that's exactly what you're looking for, if you're looking for, like, a clip to watch about that.
Okay, wait, I am super curious. Can you characterize that for me? And then I can watch it, and I can see if that's actually how I feel?
If that's actually how you feel?
Yeah.
Well, just watch it. Don't let me put words in someone else's mouth.
Well, no, because this is kind of what it all comes down to, is, like, where it feels like I see, like, a different reality sometimes than other people. And I don't know if the reason is because somebody's more motivated to say something else, or there's a legitimate difference in viewpoint, or...
Well, yeah, it's pretty simple. Someone says something to you that by its nature would be condescending, right? To say that you're uneducated on a topic, that's condescending. Then to respond to that person with an endless barrage of you're dumb, you're stupid, you're dumb, right? There's a difference. Like, one is a lot more aggressive than the other one.
I could agree with that for sure, of course. But I'm just curious, insofar as, like, when you said you interviewed on your stream, you said that he
came on later that day.
owned up to all of it.
No, he didn't own up to all of it. He basically said at the start of it, he was like, yes, I went too hard on Bastion when he was just trying to make questions about the oil pipeline. And yeah, and then I was like, when you spoke to Destiny, we and him were getting into it because basically I was saying to him that he had said, I said it was condescending that he had called you stupid and dumb multiple times. And you had started it by saying you were uneducated on the topic, which I think is different, but is still condescending by its nature. And he agreed to that.
Okay. Do you have a link to that actually, or like how long is this? Is this like a 20-minute thing I can like go through?
It'll be in my VOD.
Fuck.
Now, here's my question to you, dude.
Yeah.
Do you know why Mike from PA calls himself Mike from PA?
Because he's Mike from Pennsylvania.
Or the same thing, why he calls himself Mike from PA on Twitter?
Because he's Mike from Pennsylvania. I don't know. What do you mean?
Because he doesn't want to reveal his full legal name. He uses it as an alias.
Then why would he run
get where
for
I'm going with this?
Public office?
Right, but he doesn't use that in his Twitter or his Twitch or anything, and he does that with intention.
It's pretty easy to like Google around and see like the very public news articles.
I'm never going to contest that, but that's still like that's his prerogative, right? So by putting that on your stream, that's doxing him.
Nah, I don't buy into that one. Not even remotely close. that somebody who runs for, if he wanted to be like completely invisible, why would he put his first name and the state that he's from as part of his name? What? Hold on. Wait. What you just said was, hold on. Okay, hold on. One sec. Because I'm trying to do this conversation better. I was about to say a lot of really, really mean stuff. Okay, because what you just said was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. Okay,
there
so
you go. All right.
yeah,
Give me Super Saiyan Destiny.
Yeah, okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. Well, because like if so, like I want to not be doxxed. So what name should I use online? I'll use my real first name, and then I'll put the state that I'm from in my name.
Sure, dude. Sure. I'm not going to contest with you that it's not a good way to go about it, or that it's even like comical to do it that way. But that's, regardless of all that, it doesn't matter. Like that was still his decision to do it. Even whether he did it very weakly or whether he does it like in a manner that, is not befitting of someone trying to hide their identity, it's still what he's trying to do.
So let's say that I found out that he faked being a lawyer and then he lies about it. What am I supposed to do there? Just eat that? Am I not allowed to cite like, well, here's like literally the shit that is like publicly available that like you tried to run for a public office and here it all is? Am I not allowed to say that then, or what? Do I just have to eat that?
I cannot police what you do. I'm saying
no, I'm not asking you to police. Yeah, I'm just asking you like what would you do in my position? I found out a guy lies about being a lawyer. He fakes it to win debates against me, and I see clearly he's not. Am I not allowed to bring that up or what?
But then why are you attacking his character? Isn't the point of all these debates to kind of get at the root of what you're both trying to debate? Isn't it about like getting like, isn't that the whole point of like
the reason why I'm attacking
epistemology?
Sure. No, okay. The reason why I attack that is because he's used that to win a debate. He literally appealed to authority himself on my stream. I brought in an undergrad. I think it was an undergrad to clarify some econ stuff. Mike dismissed him, saying, well, actually, I'm a lawyer. I've got a juris, whatever bullshit, so I know that you're full of shit. Well, if he's going to use that as his defense, then it's something on the table for me to attack. I never just unlike Quarantine, okay, I will never like say like, oh, you're not educated on this. Oh, you can't talk about this, blah, blah, blah. I never do that. We deal with the subject matter. But Mike did bring up the fact that he was a lawyer as a way to win a debate.
Sure. Well, in which case, then, yeah, you could say like, by the way, you weren't actually a lawyer, blank, blank, blank. You don't have to do that by saying, and here's your full legal name and put it on screen.
But then he'll just deny it. Then what do I do? Because clearly he said he's a lawyer. If I go, okay, well, you were lying about this, I go, no, I wasn't. Do I just say, oh, well.
But like, I still don't understand why you have to dox him in that.
It's not instance. About. I'm not. Okay. I just told you why. Let's assume this even is a dox. Okay. I just told you why. It's because he's lying about his credentials. I have a public article that states that like, oh well, look, he lied about his credentials. Like, that would be the reason why. So what am I supposed?
Okay. So if you got to that junction, couldn't you be like, okay, I'll send you this article that proves that you're wrong, and then if he denies it, I mean, that's a different impasse. That's like a different conversation.
Hold on. Do you have any idea how absolutely horrible that would come across? Destiny emailed me an article and he threatened to dox me if I didn't admit that I wasn't a fake
not threatened to dox you, just to prove your point. If he's like, that's not true, and you're like, it is true, I have proof. I don't want to display the proof on screen right now because that will dox you in the process. But if you want to contest this, I do have that evidence. Can I send it to you privately?
Even if I say that publicly, that's going to be a ton of people that are now going to be trying to dox him, right? Oh, Mike, Pennsylvania, fake lawyer. You would probably start Googling stuff and you'd probably wind up on a lot of these news articles, right? And also, the way that this would play out publicly is he would say, I bet my life on this, he would say, Destiny is threatening to dox me if I don't tell him that I'm a fake lawyer on stream. That's what he would say, 100%. I would bet my life on that. I know he would.
Yeah, what do you want me to say? I can't speak to that, man. I can't
this is
guess what he's going to say.
You're accusing me of doxing, which is pretty serious, and I'm quoting just literal public articles. You're saying that he's gone to great lengths to conceal his identity. He literally put his name, occupation, and location as part of his name. It doesn't seem like he's going through a lot of effort to, and he also lists publicly a lot of what he's done. I worked with a lot of public campaigns. I worked for blah, blah, blah. I think he's even mentioned he's tried to run for public office. I think he's mentioned that on my stream before. Like, Jesus Christ, if you're trying to hide yourself from getting doxed, you're doing all the wrong things. Like, I think I can make that argument. Like, my name is Destiny.
We're going in a circle, dude. I said at the start of this, you could characterize it as cartoonish as far as like how little he's hiding it. Fine, but that doesn't dispute the fact that he is still hiding it, and that was still intent, right?
I don't know that, and it's impossible for me to ascertain that based on the information listed. If somebody's name is going to be Mike from Pennsylvania, the lawyer, I actually wouldn't make the assumption at all that he's going to hide that he ran for public office. I would actually assume the exact opposite. Like,
okay. Well, I did speak to him after this, though.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, the reason I use Mike from PA in Central Planning Committee is because I don't want my real name revealed.
I don't believe him, actually. 100% I don't believe him. Because I know people that don't want the real name revealed, and they don't put their real name as their handle. What? Like, you must understand how absolutely fucking stupid that is. Please tell me you understand that.
I use Lance, and I don't want my full legal name out there.
Sure, but like, if you were... I don't even want to guess your state. If you were Lance from Ukraine, okay, sure. like the electrician... You wouldn't advertise that publicly, like, oh, I'm Lance from Ukraine, the electrician. You're like and then say like, oh yeah, I've ran for public office in Ukraine. You're like begging for people to try to figure out like more information about you.
I'm not contesting that it is like it's like there's it's easy to find, sure, fine, but like that doesn't change the fact that I still have a right to do that as a person. I could still say I still don't want to, whether or not I went about that in like the most foolish way possible. I still do have that right.
This is like unimaginable to me. I don't believe that Mike cares about this at all. I think that he's just really ass pained over like getting whatever me talking about him, and now he's like trying to throw shit at me. But like,
he's not throwing shit at you. I am, man. I'm the one talking to you.
Can you? Okay, I'm super curious. Can you at least admit to me that you are literally the stupidest person on the face of the earth to want to conceal your identity and then name yourself Mike, your real first name, from Pennsylvania, the state you live, and then tell everybody that you're a lawyer, a relatively exclusive profession that you can look up publicly in that state registrar to see who has like a law degree, or I'm sorry, who has completed the bar, who is licensed to practice? Can you at least admit to me, honestly, and say, yeah, that's one of the dumbest possible things you could do if you're trying to conceal your identity? Can you admit that, or will you not admit that?
I will not admit that makes you the stupidest person on earth. I'm sure there's far stupider things I could.
Would you admit that is one of the dumbest possible ways? So let's just going over the record. So he's revealed his face. He said he's a lawyer, which, by the way, if you're licensed to practice, that's publicly accessible information. He's given his first name. He's given the state that he lives in, and he said that he's worked on like public campaigns and shit before. Does this sound like a person that's trying really hard to hide their first and last name?
And again, we're going in circles, man. I told you I'm not going to contest that. I mean, if you want to pin me down on the fact that do you or do you not find this to be like asinine? Like,
wait, really he's already Oh man, dude, he's already got a Medium account that's called @MichaelBayer, and it's connected to his Mike from PA account that also links to his Twitch.tv/Central Committee thing.
Sure. Like again, it's all foolish. I'm not disputing.
No, that's not foolish. He's literally doxed himself.
The other thing.
No, come on! You're doing the thing that I just accused you of doing. This is why I call you guys spineless. Like, this is literally it right here. What the fuck? I'm getting gaslit in real time right now. He has a Medium account that is called @MichaelBayer. It links to his Twitter. It links to his Twitch. It's all right here. Like,
sure. Again, dude, it's not clever. I never once in this conversation said that.
So what have I done that's wrong? Because I linked a public news article about him.
Right, because a Twitch user who's using a different moniker, like I said, right? You can have an alias. That's your right as a Twitch streamer. Like, you know, were you always Destiny? Were you sometimes Steve Bonnell? I don't know.
I used to be Steve Bonnell because I wanted my real name on everything. But like,
okay, fair.
You say that he uses an alias, Central Committee, but he goes on Discord as Mike from PA. Other people call him Mike from PA. Like, he might even be listed on podcasts as like Mike from PA. I'm not sure, but like.
But that's still his right, man.
Okay, and it's my right to quote a public news article about another public figure. If we're gonna go by, it's your right. Okay. Right, well, you don't have a right to not be well, because you're weaseling really hard. That's his right. Sure. Well, you don't have a right to privacy of information that's published in a news article. Then I'll use the same defense. He's Mike from PA on the Majority Report. Yeah.
The other thing from news reports too is that Andre thing was the other thing that like really upset me.
What? It's public information.
It absolutely is. In fact, I didn't even know about it until I saw it on your stream, right? But the way you characterized it. Like
he was charged with domestic abuse.
He was acquitted of those charges. The only thing that he was charged with, apparently, according to that, was destroying a cell phone.
Wrong.
And he was charged.
With domestic abuse or something related to domestic abuse. He pled guilty to breaking a cell phone, and the other charges were dropped. That's what happened.
And in those same articles, because I'm sure you read them before you went on stream and talked about them, right?
Yeah.
It talked about how he was the one who was physically and mentally abused.
It said that he had depression, and it said, hold on. If you want, we can dig all of this up, and we can go through like those articles like in detail. But based on what I read, I don't know if I accept that characterization.
So there's the actual National Post article. I just sent it to you. He said that she abused him physically and emotionally for much of that time.
That's what he said. And what did she say?
When he threatened to leave, she told him she would go to the police and claim that he had abused her.
And what did she say?
I'm saying right, but you only said one thing about that. You said, "Oh,
No, I didn't. I
with
said
these
that the
things."
charges were dropped. Hold on, I'm actually super curious. When you did you? I'm sure you reviewed the Brett Kavanaugh stuff or whatever. Did you take Kavanaugh's testimony into account when you said, "Well, Kavanaugh said none of this ever happened"? Kavanaugh, yeah, of course, somebody that's charged with a crime is going to say it didn't happen or accuse the other person of anything. Did he ever file charges against her for any of this abuse?
Did he charge? Sorry,
Did he file charges
Kavanaugh?
against?
Or are you talking about Cormentine?
I'm talking about Cormentine.
No, he didn't charge.
Okay, so somebody that was accused of domestic abuse, like in the court system, like had charges filed against him, came out and said, well, actually, that other person was abusive towards me, with no charges filed, with nothing in a court case. Why do you think it's responsible for you to bring up his defense and not mention any of the things that she said? Like, you're literally like taking the side of a friend here, and you would never do this for another man accused of any kind of domestic abuse. I'm pretty sure you would make fun of people that would do exactly this. I can't prove that, but...
No, fair enough. I mean, as a friend, these are online friends. These are people I've yet to meet him in person. These are not IRL friends, but I do, yeah, I like Andre. I've always liked him, but I've also, yeah, I'm also very firmly on, I definitely believe accusers first and foremost. In this situation, in this particular one, because after I found that out from you, I started reading up more on this, and yeah, it turned out he had been acquitted of those charges, and it wasn't as you characterized it in the stream. You said they probably stuck him on the one thing they could on. Right?
Okay, and do you think there might have been some merit to those other charges?
Well, first off, let's before we backpedal on that, how would you make the assumption that that was just how it went down in that court case?
Because he served 12 months probation for breaking a phone. Do you think that if I break somebody's phone, a judge is going to sentence me to 12 months probation for that crime? Or do you think that there was probably some sort of plea bargain there?
I think it was community service.
Okay, I'm reading the article, and it says, meaning that he will serve 12 months probation, but no conviction will be registered on his criminal record. But even if it was 12 months community service, do you think that if I broke somebody's phone, I would be sentenced in small claims court or whatever to serve 12 months probation, or that a judge in a criminal court would sentence me to 12 months of community service for breaking a phone? Or do you think that there was probably some sort of plea bargain there?
Technically, it's for mischief, right? We have to go by what the charge itself is.
Sure, a mischief charge.
It's just mischief. And is that typical? I would have to ask a lawyer. Like, honestly, is 12 months normal for mischief? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't have any reference for that.
Okay, hold on. Don't mention Mike, guys. We can't talk about Mike. We don't know if he's a lawyer or not. Okay, that would be doxing. Oh, wait. I'm curious where you saw, like, community service. Is that in this article? Because I'm literally just quoting the article.
I don't know if it's in the one I sent you. I'd have to look that up. To be honest, I don't want to pick up more. Did you find it?
Nope, I don't see anything about community service. I just see 12 months probation.
No. Did you find out mischief? Like, what's typical for that? As you said you were looking it up.
Oh, no, I don't know about that. Oh, I was going to ask, I've got a couple lawyer friends in stream, but I don't know if anyone's here, so I was just curious if they, if Apples was here right now, but he's not. But okay, yeah. But I mean, like, I brought up that there were charges against him. I also brought up that, like, he wasn't convicted of any of the, like, actual abuse charges. It was just the phone thing. I mean, I brought both of those up. But, like, again, like...
you also said, dude, like, right afterwards, you're like, yeah, it makes sense.
Sure? That, like, this is, like, pretty commonly how, like, plea deals and stuff work, yeah?
No. You said that after that. When you're like, oh, and he'd been charged with domestic abuse, and you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, because it had to do with the him shutting up Pixie over and over again. Yeah, that was a little tongue in cheek, sure.
Okay. Like, how far does this go? I'm just curious, because, like, to me, like, there's one thing, like, you know, it's all about the memes, like, you know, we're all just online. Sure, we go at each other, we have fun, we laugh, all that kind of shit, right? But yesterday it was like, it seems like it all got kicked up a fucking notch. Like, all of a sudden now it's actually about, like, you know, finding out personal information about people. It's not about the arguments themselves.
Here's my, oh man, dude, I really don't want to let you walk away from this because it actually triggers the fuck out of me that I know that you think that this is like Mike literally fucking tweets out like his fucking first and last name on his Twitter that's connected to his Twitch. I can't believe that you unironically are trying to assume that I doxed him on this. Oh my god. Okay, what you're asking me how did this all get kicked up a notch?
Sorry, yeah, I'll get to that. I was just looking at your tweet. Yeah, okay. I mean, all I'll say is the fact that he said that. Fuck.
How about we say that Mike is a spineless little piece of shit who doesn't actually fucking stand for anything, and he'll sit there and cry about whatever he thinks he can to get one up on me. How about we just agree on that? Because there's no fucking way that a guy that tweets out his first name and his last name and his occupation, which is a public registrar, and the state that he's from, is seriously trying to keep himself from getting doxxed.
What was the other thing you were going to say? Because
okay,
I'm not going down that road. Sure,
we don't have to go down that road. It's a dark and scary road. So the other thing is, when did this all get kicked up a notch? Well, we can talk in a general sense, or we can talk in an isolated sense. An isolated sense is easier. We can look at that podcast. So how about it all got kicked up a notch when Cole?
No. My question was, how far is this going to go? Like, I know the story. I've been a part of it.
Oh, how far is it going to go? I don't know. Until somebody tries to kill me in real life or some shit. I don't know. That's up to the other people to decide, I guess. But that's typically how it goes, right? Like, I've already done this with the alt-right, and I've done this with the left in the past. So with the left, it was trying to get me unsponsored, and then when my sponsors wouldn't unsponsor me, it was messaging every single client that I had of my sponsors. That's how far that went there, and then reporting and trying to get me thrown off of every platform. And then with the alt-right, the farthest it went was people tried to dox where my kid's mom lived so that they could find my kid and ostensibly do something, I'm not sure. And then it was filing multiple fake tips to the FBI in order to try to get me arrested or to have the FBI start an investigation against me, and then other just like doxing, harassing, and threatening right now. And then now with the commie community and the lefties and the socialists, now it seems to be trying to turn all of my public acquaintances against me. It seems to be trying to get my stuff banned or deplatformed, so like, getting my Twitter banned would be part of that. And then I guess now with Cole, it's kind of like ramped up into like these kind of like tacit threats of like physical violence maybe, or just a physical confrontation.
Like with everything you just listed, I don't agree with any of it. I think that's all horrific, dude.
That's cool,
part of
but
that's
no. You're literally like the Nazi soldier, like at the camp, who's like, "Well, I didn't actually push him into the shower." LOL. Like you sat on that podcast.
I'm right now agreeing that everything you just listed is bad.
That's great, but where were you 2 nights ago when you were sitting on that podcast listening to Cole threatening to find me in real life multiple times? You didn't say a single thing. Where was I?
What am I supposed to like? Do you need me to hold your hand and defend you in these things? Like you're a big boy. You can handle yourself. This like I'm agreeing that people should not act this way. People should not threaten each other. People should not get personal.
If I sit on a podcast where a bunch of people start to make real life threats against another person and I hold my tongue, you don't think that my audience or other people see that as me implicitly agreeing that those threats are justified or acceptable?
You didn't hold your tongue. Like you were.
No. If I was on a podcast and somebody else started making a threat to somebody else on that podcast, and I just sat there, if I'm party A and then B starts threatening C and I just hold my tongue, you don't think that people will see that as Destiny is implicitly kind of supporting that call for violence, or at the very least he doesn't have a big problem with it?
In a podcast with 6 or 7 people, like, are you going to go on the record with this? Because I'm pretty sure if we go through the history, because you've been on a lot of podcasts, you've maybe in one situation sat there while someone else was saying something to someone else, right?
Yeah, you can call me out at it and hold me accountable. I like it when I'm held accountable like that. And actually, I don't know if you know my history in podcasts, but yeah, I do tend to like stand up when I see other people are getting relentlessly fucking bullied. That's why I've defended Lecture Fan. That's why I've defended Primrose. I hate both of these people in every political, and even that Bastiat guy or whatever. Like that guy comes off to me as like a huge fucking like corporatist, like neoliberal shill. Probably don't like any of his. But yeah, when I see those people getting attacked, and I even did it on the podcast that we were on 2 nights ago, I usually stand up and I'm like, hey, well, what about this or this? You do usually take that person's side, yeah.
But I think you're trying to change the topic, man.
What do you think I'm trying to change the topic from what to what?
I keep asking you questions, and this and we keep trying to get them to this kind of purview. Like,
sure.
Asking you.
Okay, hold on, wait. I'll bring up a notepad and I'll write down, because whatever question you ask, I'll do my best to answer. Okay, so if you think I'm avoiding a question, ask me what question you think I'm avoiding.
Okay, well, let's get back to the original one. Like,
go for it.
When I asked you how much further does this go, you said I don't know. Maybe when someone else is going to stop. You didn't bring up the fact that the left, the extreme left, I think you're talking about. All these lefties and these commies, just like the alt-right, they're treating you the exact same. Is that as far as that goes? because we kind of went on like a really weird tangent there.
So you asked me how much further does it go, and I gave you example. So first I said it's how far they want it to go, which is kind of my answer, because like I don't really determine when this all stops. Is when people stop responding to me and shit, right? And then I gave you examples of how far things have gone in the past. Oh, and then I also said maybe until somebody tries to attack me physically in real life. I guess that's
sure.
how far it goes.
And you also added the fact that you said that they're trying to tear your friends away from you, right?
Yeah.
Like, how is that happening? Like, did anyone tear away like that whole incident with Trihex? Was that people on the left doing that to you?
I would say that the best example of that would probably be Hassan talking to Trihex before Trihex talks to me. Yeah.
But it was still between the two of you, right? Like, it was still the two of you talking to each other. It was still a conversation between two individuals. There was no one else. There was no third party in that conversation.
Are you familiar with the psychological concept of priming?
No.
So basically, when you prime somebody, basically what I can do is I can kind of get you to feel a certain way about a topic before I've actually had you engage with that topic. There's a ton of super fascinating like psych literature relating to like asking students like, how do you believe in true love? And things like how you even phrase a question can prime somebody to have a different view of it. Or more related, like for Medicare for All, if I ask you the question, how do you feel about the government providing health insurance that bans your private insurance? That'll pull very low. But if I ask you, how do you feel about the government?
I know about priming questions. But
It's the same concept.
Someone's ideas, so you're talking about like inception almost. But like,
wait, you laughed. Do you not think that's possible?
I think it's entirely possible.
Okay.
Absolutely, I do. I do not think though that it was to the extent that it actually like tarnished that entire conversation. Like, for me, it was two people trying to like. It seemed a lot like a friend trying to reach out to you to appeal to your humanity.
Yeah, Trihex did, but you don't think the conversation with Hassan beforehand, where Hassan is saying that anybody that uses the N-word like that privately is essentially dehumanizing. You don't think that's priming a little bit? Mm-hmm.
Sure. So even if he poisoned the well a little bit in that conversation, when it was two people one-on-one, there was still a moment where it doesn't matter, like everything else, all the white noise that's going on the outside, he's still just turning to you as a friend, asking you,
Okay, well, this is, now you've pivoted to like a different thing. So you originally asked me, can you give me an example of somebody trying to turn somebody against you? And then when I've given you an example, you're saying, well, when Trihex is talking to you one-on-one, that example doesn't matter. We can talk about whether or not it's relevant in the heat of a one-on-one conversation, but initially you asked me if I had an example of somebody trying to poison the well of somebody against me, and I gave you the example, and you seem to agree.
No. Give me an example of someone actually trying to pull your friends away from you, and your example is Hassan in this case.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
You're saying Hassan is actively trying to pull his friends away from you.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's actually trying to do that, I'm sure you'll send me all the evidence about that down the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
It still came down to, in my opinion, two people. Like, no matter how much well poisoning there is,
no matter
how much he's priming him.
So are we moving on from that question about whether or not there are people that tried to pull people away from me, or?
No. You've given me that example.
Okay, cool.
And I'm telling you, even if he is trying to do that actively, and I'm sure, like I said, you'll send me examples of this, and you'll prove it, right, with evidence or whatever that is, that it still wasn't that Hassan did that. He wasn't the one that caused that. Whether or not
but he tried to.
Poisoned...
We're not talking about whether he was successful.
Okay,
so that's
intent.
it. Then you agree with me that he did try to do that.
No. I don't know whether or not that happened yet, because you're going to show me that, right? You're going to give me that evidence, but you've given me an example, so I agree that you've given me an example of that.
Okay.
That's as far as I'll take that.
Do you want to watch the clip, or?
Yeah. Well, can we just nail that one thing though? Because I think this might be getting to the root of a lot of it, and that is that moment between two individuals, right? Whether or not, again, that well was poisoned.
Wait. So what is the topic now? Because I'm not sure what we're talking about now.
That conversation between you and Trihex.
Yeah. What exactly are we talking about?
That friendship ended, and you're saying it ended. Is it in large part because of Hassan? Like, what percentage of this is?
Well, I never said that. We weren't talking about what degree of responsibility Hassan had with the conversation that I had with Trihex. But we've never talked about that. We can talk about that if you want. But
sure. What degree of responsibility does he have?
What degree of responsibility does Hassan have?
Yeah.
It's impossible for me to know that. I can't measure that. Ultimately, I would say the responsibility at the end of the day rests with Trihex.
And you too, right?
Sure. Yeah, me and Trihex, yeah.
Like, it came down to, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that there's lefties trying to,
No, hold on. Okay, wait. Okay, you're mixing up so much stuff, okay?
Sure.
So, at the end of the day, a man might be responsible for his actions, but that doesn't mean that nobody influenced him to perform said actions.
Of course, there's ancillary causes for everything.
Okay, so then I would agree that I would agree that me and Trihex are ultimately responsible for our conversation, but there were definitely ancillary variables that impacted Trihex's view of me before that conversation. Neither of these aren't contradictory viewpoints.
They're not. Neither. We're not debating that. Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to it, right? Like, it's not exactly like a lefty conspiracy that you
Careful,
guys...
you're pulling this off. I didn't say there was a lefty conspiracy. We're talking
it's one of
about
the many things that you're accusing them of,
no,
though, right? You said like all these these socialists.
I have
and these communists
explicitly said multiple times, I don't think there's a grand conspiracy. This is just stuff that happens. I can give you more examples of it happening. Okay, this is a little Weasley me. I can understand how the way that I say it sounds conspiratorial. So I will be clear with you, and I have been clear on this in the past, but maybe not as clear as I could be. I don't think it's like literally a grand scripted conspiracy where there's like the puppet master Cenk or something behind the scenes, like getting everyone against me. I think it's more just like people are kind of like trying to pull people away from me because they don't like me, and it plays out in these large group scenarios. So that's what I mean when I say conspiratorial. Like, yeah, sorry. So if I don't mean to make it sound like a scripted exact conspiracy. I just mean like it kind of like feels like there's a lot of people trying to pull people away from me or whatever. Is that okay? Does that qualification make that a little clear?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I still don't like. There's not meetings, you know. There's not like.
Well, there are. So there are groups of people that fucking hate me that all get together on their stream and they talk about how much they hate me and they shit on me. Like, this does happen. I listen to it all the time on stream. Mike, Bad Bunny, Alabrel, other people that I don't want to repeat the names of because I've talked to them personally and apparently they're okay with me now. Like, a lot of these people get together and do this. I listen to this all the time. Alt-Riders used to do it. Tonka Saw, the Kill Stream guys, like all these people used to get together on streams and do it. And now I listen to a lot of left-leaning people do it. We listen to these streams on my stream all the time.
Right, but those are little pockets. Like, it's not. Fuck, we're gonna get into semantics again.
Yeah, they're little pockets. Again, I don't think it's a grand scripted conspiracy, but it plays out basically identical to one. There are people that get together, they form opinions about me, they try to pull other people into their group, they try to isolate them from me by saying that I'm a horrible racist, whatever piece of shit, and then that's just kind of how it plays out. It's not a grand conspiracy, it's just like a social phenomenon that kind of like, I see it evolving in real time in front of me.
Can I ask you something completely off topic?
Sure.
Just because I have you here, like, and I don't in any way mean this to be insulting, but
yeah,
sometimes I don't understand, like, do you pick up on social cues the same way normal people do?
I don't think so, but I think that like the amount of effort that I've gone through to understand social cues has given me more insight into them than a lot of people would like to admit. Yeah. Again, like there's a lot of times where people will pretend that something. Oh, so for example, you want to talk about picking up on social cues. In your video, you argued that when Andre said I was uneducated on a topic, that there was a significant difference between saying that versus saying that I'm uneducated, period. So I would argue in that case, you're the one missing the social cue because every other person watching that will understand the context that what Andre is saying is that I'm just uneducated, period. In fact, not only is that so well understood, what? Yeah. Yeah, because I had another friend of mine, Luna, that was on one of the Destiny support group streams, literally said, oh, Destiny gets really threatened when you call out his lack of education or whatever. So like clearly, like not only was that probably Andre's intent, that's also how it was received. So like that's something where I would argue that my understanding of social cues there was superior to yours, at least in that one instance. I wouldn't attribute any of my problems to a misunderstanding of social cues. I think I understand people very well, and I think I can read people pretty well too. Like it's something that I've like worked on like significantly over the past few years.
But in that case, it's defensively then, right?
What do you mean defensively?
Like you're good at reading it very, like if you think you're being attacked.
I think I'm good at reading like what people like or don't like in all situations, like pretty well.
Okay.
I mean, if you feel
again,
like
I'm not trying to be
sure.
trying to be insulting by saying that, but like I there's times when I don't understand it.
Well, like I'm super curious. If there's ever an action that I do that you don't understand, then feel free to let me know and I can explain it like completely. I can explain it from both sides. Sure.
Well, going back to that conversation when it was like you and Trihex, right? Like you even said in the video where you're at the very end of it where you were like when you're going after him that like you think maybe he was emotional almost intentionally afterwards or just to make you look like the big bad guy in this whole scenario.
No, I've never said that. Sure. Not only have I never said that, I've explicitly said multiple times I don't think Trihex is like doing anything intentional. I think those were his real emotions. I think that he genuinely felt that way. And I don't think there was some grand conspiracy by him to try to fuck me. I don't think he's ever done that to me in my entire life. I've said that explicitly multiple times. What I have said, though, is that that's the effect of what happens. It bothers me a lot that you can't separate out that the fact that the intentionality doesn't always matter when you take into account the effect, because this is how we deal with like minority oppression all the time in real life. Like a lot of racism exists in the criminal justice system, not because people are intentionally racist, but because that's like the impact of actions that people like collectively don't realize results in racism. That's the same thing that's going on here.
With the intent, are you talking about the intent directly from Andre to?
Yeah, I'm talking like Trihex isn't intending to like make me look like the worst person in the world, but that's the effect of what's happening, right?
Sure, but again, that's if it's not his intent. There's nothing malicious there. But
wait, if I use the F slur as a way publicly, but I don't intend to be homophobic, does it matter that there's no intent there?
No.
then why would you ever use that argument? It doesn't matter if he knows if his intentions are good or bad. Like, the effect is what I feel at the end of the day, right? As humans, we don't feel other people's intentions. We feel the effects of their actions. That's why we don't use homophobic language, even if we're not homophobic. That's why we don't act transphobic, even if we do love trans people. Because at the end of the day, they don't feel our intentions. They just feel our actions.
Right, but going back to that original conversation, like, on the other end of the spectrum, I don't see why you wouldn't pick up on the same emotions of, say, like empathy or understanding instead of just, emotions of defense.
I do pick up on his emotions, but my stances on some things are unyielding. I will, apologize, and I did, for coming across as harsh. I'm not going to apologize for holding a principled position that he had 2 weeks ago.
Right, but the principal position is yours, right? The one that you should be allowed to say the N-word in private.
That I should be allowed to make edgy jokes that I wouldn't say publicly in private is the more broad way. It does, but we reframe it to that specifically to make it as edgy as possible. But sure.
And even when that video that Hassan put out where it's got you in a podcast saying that white people shouldn't say the N-word period ever, ever. Is that because your opinion on it changed? Is it a transient idea?
So this is one of the big reasons why I get so upset when bad faith actors are fucking with my shit publicly. So the clip that Hassan had in that video, do you remember when Kendrick Lamar pulled a white woman on stage to say the N-word? Or not to say the N-word, but to rap a song that had the N-word in it?
Yeah.
So specifically what I was talking about was, if you're a fucking white person, okay, and you're singing rap music or you go on stage or whatever, just fucking don't say the N-word publicly. And I even say in that video, I say there's not good arguments for it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't even make sense to say it's about race because Hispanic people, whatever, could do it. But if you're a white person, just don't fucking say the N-word publicly. Just don't. I didn't say publicly at the time because the context was understood. But that was very specifically in response to that white woman going on stage in that Kendrick Lamar concert and rapping it with a soft A.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I don't really have any more questions, dude.
Okay. I mean, we can go through more examples. Alabrel has tried to kind of poison the well for people against me. So I have logs of him, for instance, in Eva's chat saying things like "Stay away from Destiny. He's a bad person" or something. I don't know why I would be relevant, why you would ever bring me up in that context like that. I don't know what the purpose is, unless you're literally just trying to get people to not be friends with me.
Well, that was another one. I didn't get what the purpose of just showing his old tweets where he was, thirsty on Maine. He's very public about that. I think that's isn't that his his entire brand? Doesn't he run a show about sexuality and stuff like that?
So there's a level of respect that I pay towards people that pay a level of respect towards me. When Alabrel has essentially come out multiple times and he said I'm a piece of shit human, when he's implied that I'm grifting, when he's implied that I'm transphobic, all of these things that I am adamantly not, then my level of respect for him is non-existent. So if I can characterize him as a creepy, nice guy piece of shit that just uses his social justice warrior positions to try to get some easy pussy online, and when that story basically writes itself based on how he acts, and when he's guarding friends sexually against me, yeah, I'll put together that story and throw it out there to make him look like the piece of shit he is. I don't think that's necessarily unbelievable that I would do that against a guy that's literally accusing me constantly of being transphobic and homophobic and everything.
It's not unbelievable, but I don't think it makes either if you look good in that scenario.
I'm never going to look good to that group of people, though. I'm literally Hitler to them. I'm Hitler Satan. I'm like Hitler if I died and then I went to hell and I went on a big quest to fuse my soul with Satan and then I came back to life when I streamed on Twitch. That's who I am to these people. So I'm not ever trying to look good in their eyes. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Also, we're still pivoting away hardcore. Why did you pivot to Alabrel's history or my post on Alabrel when before I ever made that?
I didn't.
No. I brought up an example. You asked me for examples of people that are turning other people against me. And I brought up Alabrel typing stuff in Eva's chat. And then you said, well, why did you make that post on Alabrel? He did that way before I ever made a post about him.
Not post on. No. I was talking about the video from yesterday.
Sure, but I'm telling you that Alabrel has been talking to at least one person that I can see, probably more, but at least one person that I could see very publicly.
Oh, so he's your second example after Hassan.
Yeah, he's just another example of somebody trying to pull people against me. Yeah.
That, again, two people does not make a conspiracy.
Okay. I mean, I can look at
even if you pulled 5 or 6 people,
Oh wait, so how many? Wait, so if I were to show
how many people does a conspiracy take? Technically 2. All right, if you want to talk about the law. And
wait, do you understand how unbelievable? Okay, I love you, and we can go through this whole conversation, but like this is like further like in
you
my
always say
mind,
that.
like
I don't-
you have lost even more of a backbone than what you had coming into this conversation. Like this this whole conversation has actually been like unbelievable. Like you're right now you're trying to pigeonhole me into what even a conspiracy is when I've given you 2 examples of people that are engaging the exact type of behavior you asked for an
It's
example
something
of.
you've already told me in the course of this conversation that like I shouldn't characterize it as there is a conspiracy or some kind of like dark cabal. with
Sure, that it's not like a
leftists.
dark
You've
cabal,
already
but
said
I don't
that.
think that all conspiratorial things are necessarily like that. But I don't need to call it a
Are
conspiracy.
there individual actors who are trying to do things against you? Of course there are. You're famous on the internet. That's how the fucking internet works. You know?
Why
Like,
are
of
you
course.
why are you making this such a broad thing? This isn't about me being internet famous. This is about other influencers that are of a decent size trying to pull people against me because of my political views. This isn't just random bullying on the internet. And I would never use that
do you think it
argument
is-
for
do you
women
think
that
it
are
is because
complaining
you're-
about like sexism. Like, oh, it's just the internet.
you-
You're expected to be bullied.
But do you think it's specifically about your political views, or do you think it's about you as a person too? Because like you are going after a lot of these individual people. Like
I would say
yesterday,
no,
you
no.
carpet-bombed a whole bunch of
I
people's
did
personal
carpet bomb
lives.
him, and god damn did it feel good. Also, no, it is not because I'm going specifically after these people. In fact, I think every single one of those people on the podcast, I have sacrificed social capital to defend. I have defended Alabrel relentlessly on the Raj Royale, and everybody can listen to me doing it in the past. I defended Bad Bunny relentlessly against my community, even when she was a racist piece of shit that hated fucking black people. I did it relentlessly to my community. And I've even to some extent defended Mike, where after our first conversation with Mike, I said he was really good, and I platformed him on my stream multiple times, which I know helped with his popularity. So no, I take issue with the idea that, well, maybe they just don't like your personality, because I showed these people nothing but kindness, even though my political views have been diametrically opposed to them for the majority of my Twitch history. So no, I reject that characterization that I wasn't nice to them.
Diametrically opposed. You always tell me this. Like I'm a lefty. I'm so far left. I'm so much further left than like I'm further left than a sock dem.
So I was diametrically opposed to Bad Bunny's views because she was a gamer bro when we initially hung out. She literally was a big Anthony and Opie fan or whatever. Like to this day, she still like defends like Sam Harris. She gives like really gamer bro takes on like racism or sexism. Like so, yeah, I was pretty opposed to those views. Alabrel, rhetorically, I am diametrically opposed to. I don't screen people down when I'm talking to them about social issues. I try to explain it like really calmly. Alabrel goes like the attack and screaming route. We're very opposed on those issues. And then with Mike from CCP, he's literally a fucking socialist and I'm a capitalist. So we are diametrically opposed in those issues.
Mm-hmm. And now, I mean, I'm going to tell you that the first 2 examples you just gave, I wouldn't necessarily say they're diametrically opposed to your politics. And I'm guessing we're going to get down to a semantical argument. Of
Okay,
what exactly
I
that is
misphrased
politics,
it. So
right?
maybe we're not diametrically opposed. Maybe we just have significant differences. Is that better?
Sure.
Okay.
But
So earlier, I'm only saying this because I know we're about to dance away from this topic, but you said maybe those people don't like you just because of the way you've treated them. I have treated these people with an immense amount of kindness.
Too, right?
Well, okay,
others,
we can go to any people.
None of this exists in a vacuum.
I know that I have like this really harsh demeanor online, but I'm actually a really fucking nice person. I'm super kind. I platform all sorts of fucking people. I have lots of conversations. I host my fucking friends. I play games with people. I retweet their shit. I add them to my auto host list. I'm nothing but nice to them in person. I paid for all the food and everything when me and Bad Bunny went and we hung out. I paid for the hotel rooms. Like, I'm a pretty fucking nice person. I don't like this characterization that I'm this horrible, evil guy. Maybe they don't like you because they're politics. Maybe they just don't like. I went to dinner and I ate with these guys. I left more money than what it cost for me to eat there when I left. Like, I'm a pretty nice person. I don't agree with this idea that I'm this horrible, evil guy and that's why they hate me. It's not a politics thing.
I mean, most nice people don't have to yell at you that they're nice people.
Because most people aren't being attacked for it. Hold on. Wait. Do you understand right there how you just gaslit me? I'm super curious if you see that or not. So
Sure.
You just implied that I am not a nice person because I'm sitting here trying to argue with you that I am a nice person, right? But the reality is I'm telling you that I'm a nice person because you have ignored my earlier...
you're
No, wait, let me
explaining
finish.
why you are.
Yeah,
Sure.
because earlier you posited the idea that maybe the reason why these people like you isn't because of politics. Maybe it's because you're a bad person. And now you've called on me to essentially defend whether or not I'm a good or bad person.
Well, I said it's because of your actions, right? It's about
The actions that you've stated are the actions that I've performed after these people have literally like come at my throat for months.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious, when you just said that line, right? When you just said the line, like, nice people don't normally have to defend their niceness. You literally just attacked me whether or not I would.
I said they don't normally have to yell at you that they're fucking nice,
Yeah.
right? Like
So
I've never had an experience before until now where someone is like, I'm really fucking nice, so you should know that.
Okay. I mean, like, I'm sure that if I spend enough time, like, characterizing you as a Nazi, I could probably get you pretty frustrated, and you'd be like, okay, well, listen, dude, like, I'm not a fucking Nazi. And then if I were to respond with, most people don't have to say that they're not a fucking Nazi. Like, do you think that I've proven a point there?
think this is a strange comparison, but sure.
Why is it a strange comparison? What do you mean? It's a totally apt comparison. If I spend enough time attacking you for some trait or quality that you believe not only you don't possess it, but you're the opposite, then of course you're going to get frustrated when you try to defend it. But when I say that your defense of it is actually a condemnation of your character, that's gaslighting 101. That's what you just said to me. You just said that I've never heard someone that's nice yell about how nice they are. Oh, fuck. Well, you got me then, I guess. Fuck, maybe I am a piece of shit. Like, that's literally what you're doing. Do you not understand that?
Well, I don't think I'm trying to make you feel that you're crazy by me saying it, right? Which would be the definition of gaslighting.
Then why did you say it?
Feel crazy. I'm to get you to understand. If you're saying, like, I don't like this idea, I don't like this characterization of me, I don't like that everyone on the internet thinks of me as an evil person.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the middle of a sentence trying to dispute that or to convince someone of that, it's never going to work if you're doing it while you're screaming at them.
So what actions am I supposed to take? Should I disavow all of my political positions to align with them? Because treating them with kindness...
Absolutely not.
Well, treating them with kindness, because I already demonstrated...
I know there's nice people who have completely opposite political views to
I've
me.
already demonstrated to you that I've shown these people an immense amount of kindness. So what am I supposed to do now if that didn't work? What's the next thing? What's my next step?
You don't have to give me time on that. I don't like. It's the same thing as me saying, like, when someone asks me what's a good redemption arc, because right now that's a big question when it comes to Bad Bunny. Like, how does Bad Bunny exactly do a redemption arc if at the same time all this stuff is happening in the background? I don't have an easy answer to that. I don't think there's a one, like, oh, if tomorrow she just like helps out, you know, a small community she's therefore no longer racist or she's no longer holds these beliefs. It's not a quick easy answer.
Okay. All right. Well, is there any other things you want to go over?
No, man.
Okay, I legit do 100% think you are like one of the most spineless people I've ever talked to in my entire life. I don't know if you actually hold like any positions genuinely in your head, or if you will bend to shape to whatever other friend group you have. It's actually astounding to me, and I'm super curious, like, if in 5 years you'll look back and you'll realize like how absolutely like fucking cowardly you are and how you approach conversations, or if you'll still be the same way. Like, this conversation has like blown my fucking mind. I can't actually believe it.
Sure thing, man.
All right, we'll see you later. Good luck.
Sounds good.
Jesus, fuck. Why do you drop the point so easily? You let him jump from the mic from PA thing to Cormentine. Because, well, what am I going to do? Hammer him on it? Like, he's, like, very clearly realized that he is, like, completely fucked on that. And it's really funny because, like, it was pretty clear that he thought he was coming onto that because we weren't even talking about it, and he just totally pivoted to it like he was about to fucking smash my ass with that. Wait, what's the meme? What a fucked up day. Oh my god. Not trolling, do you think defending Bad Bunny for her racism was wrong on your part when you did it? No, I'm always in favor of like letting people back in or like giving people chances to like change their views and shit. I figure if I'm friends with somebody long enough and we talk about these issues long enough, like eventually they'll come around to my way of thinking. That has to be the most dishonest actor you've ever had a conversation with, right? He feels worse than half the fucking alt-righters you've ever spoken to. Maybe. I don't know. Like, holy shit. I mean, he's really biased, and it's really hard for him to acknowledge that, but it seems like he tried to do an effort to understand. Does calling him spineless about it really worth it? I don't think he made an effort at all. Why would he attack me otherwise? Like, there's no way. Wait, hold on. Fuck. Okay. I have to think about this really carefully, because if any joke I make, like, if it isn't funny or if there's even something remotely wrong with